Hi, so today we're going to talk about a superhero from the Bible. So when I say superhero, who do you think of? I think of Thor. And when you think of a superhero, maybe you think of something special they can do. What do you think of? When I was little, I always thought of flying. I always wanted to fly. Thought that'd be really cool. Well, the superhero we're going to learn about today from the Bible is a woman named Ruth. And her super strengths were love, obedience, and faithfulness. But before we talk about Ruth, we have to jump back a little bit to understand the story. So, in Israel, in Bethlehem, why does Bethlehem sound familiar? Where Jesus was born, right? Well, way before Jesus was born, there was a family. There was a mom named Naomi, her husband, and their two sons. They were a family of 4 with Naomi, the mom, the dad, and the 2 boys. Well, there was a famine, so there wasn't enough to eat. So they decided to move to a different country. So they left Israel and they moved to Moab and settled there. And there was enough food and there was work. And they got settled. Well, in time, as the boys grew up, their dad passed away. So it was Naomi and her 2 sons. And they stayed in Moab. And the boys grew up and they married women from the town they settled in. One married a lady named Oprah and the other married a lady named Ruth. Well, another sad thing happened and both of the sons passed away. So it was Naomi, the mother-in-law, Oprah, and Ruth, the 3 ladies. And Naomi decided to move back to Israel, back to the country of Israel, where her family was. So she told Naomi told Ruth and Oprah, her daughter-in-laws, go back to your families, marry again. And Oprah did. Ruth said, no, I'm going to stay with you. There's a book in the Bible called Ruth. And in chapter 1, verse 16, this is what Ruth said to her mother-in-law, Naomi. Where you go, I will go. And where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. So again, that's from the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 16. So, Naomi moved back to Israel, to Bethlehem, and Ruth came with her, which may have been pretty scary for Ruth, because that's a different country. The language would have been different, and they didn't worship our God in Moab. They worshiped someone else. So who taught you about God, about our God? Maybe your mom or dad? Grandparents? What about Sunday school teachers or Miss Elaine? Maybe, right? Well, guess who taught Ruth about God? Naomi did. So Ruth believed in God. So she came back to Israel with Naomi. But our God wasn't done with her yet. He had a plan for her. She married a man named Boaz. And they had a son named Obed. And then, this is where it gets interesting. Then Obed had a son, and his son had a son. So it keeps going. King David. King David is an ancestor of Jesus. So because Ruth had love and obedience and faithfulness, and Ruth came with Naomi back to Bethlehem and married Boaz, Ruth, one of her descendants is Jesus. So God had a plan for her. She's a superhero. So I thought it could be an interesting idea to make a craft. Do you have any paint in your house? I didn't. So we're going to make our feet on paper. These are my feet. So it would have been super easy to paint the bottom of my feet and then stand on the paper. I didn't have any paint, so guess what I did? I traced the outline of my feet And I kind of like drawing patterns and swirls in different shapes. So I filled my feet in with color. Do you have crayons or markers at your house? Well, if you don't have paint, maybe you can trace your feet and then you can fill them in and color them. And down here at the bottom, I wrote our Bible verse today, which is Ruth 1:16, which is, where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Remember, God can make superheroes out of all of us. He knows you, and he knows me, and he knows what we can do well, and he can use that if we trust him. So Ruth trusted and came to a strange place with her mother-in-law, and she found love and she found happiness, and one of her descendants is Jesus. So God can use us in amazing ways. Well, I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.